whichever one you prefer. So my personal preference at this moment is Claude. Now, obviously, these AI tools, they're tricky because sometimes they are really great and sometimes they go through phases and sometimes it's just terrible. I would also like to know in the chats, if you're going to replay this, is put in the chats, one, if you're very new to AI, two, if you're dabbling in it, and three, if you're like, oh, Joy, this is going to bore me. I've had thousands of hours of education behind me with it. Now, I always say to my clients this thing: if you're not using AI to actually save you time every single week, you're using AI as a glorified search engine. And we are going to stop that in this series that I'm going to go live with every single week. It's going to be a 6-part series. They're going to overlap with each other. But most importantly, I'm going to help you to understand your business from the core out. Okay. And that's basically the concept of the series that we're going to go into. Just a little bit of background before I start with this is I am Joy Nicholson, obviously, if you know my channel. And I had a marketing agency for 5 years. Before that, I've been in marketing since 2007. Different things: billboards, magazines, newspaper, AI type softwares, analytical softwares. I used to be in sales, corporate sales, etc. So that's just a bit boring about me. I love human connection. I love going to in-person networking events and speaking to people and mingling with people and having coffee catch-ups with people. So if you're from the sunny coast in Australia, then reach out to me. We can go for a catch-up in person for a coffee. I love those type of connections. Now, I do believe that AI will kill human connections if we are not careful. And the other day, probably a couple of months ago, I did a presentation specifically on Claude to a bunch of business owners. And my core message that I wanted to get across to them is not just how to use Claude, but most importantly, to build that human connection. It is very important. One human connection a week that you build, that's 52 a year, and that can really do great things for your business. So now AI help us to amplify that. Now, the human message comes in. The human connection comes in with that messaging as well. Because if people don't understand what you do, they don't understand who you are, they don't understand your business, they don't understand in general what the heck is this person actually doing and how this person can serve me, then you are not going to make sales, because a confused mind will not buy. And that is why we're using AI to help us to clarify these things. Now, I've got a series of prompts here. It's called Multifaceted Prompts, where it's a very long prompt. And I mean, you can copy and paste it from here, or you can print screen it and put it in, or you can just go down below and you can click on the link to get access to this prompt book. All right, so let's start. So the very first thing that we're going to start with is we are going to start with your business. Okay. So Claude already knows me, so I just have to tell it that it shouldn't use this as training. This is not for you to put in your memory. This is a tutorial. Okay. Everything in this chat stays here. Okay. And then also what we're going to do is I'm going to turn this into a project. Okay, let me just see if I can add it to an existing project that I don't really use. Start a new project. I'm just going to call this YouTube tutorials. Alrighty. And now I've gone very fast. If you haven't created a project yet in Claude, don't worry about what I just did, because I'm literally going to teach that as part of the series. So my key thing is for you guys. If you walk away every single week with one thing that you can save at least an hour a week on with your marketing or your admin or whatever that I teach you in these videos, it's a win for me. All right. So my goal is to get you saved up to 10 hours a week with this 6-week series that I'm going to bring out. All right. So let's get into this. So number 1. I'm going to go to my blueprint, which you guys won't see, and that's okay. It's set up by design. And the very first thing that we're going to do is we are going to put a prompt in that is going to get Claude to understand your business. Now, it's pretty simple, and it is starting with your website. So for example, my business is, and then what is your business name? So I'm just going to say my business is, and then I've got a website. And I'm doing it specifically on my website because then you can see the results, type thing. So when you see this, do this also on your own website if you want to do the prompt. So what it's going to do now, it's going to analyze your website. It's going to understand what exactly is that you do. Now, if you're new to ChatGPT or Claude, you can do this in either one of these. I prefer Claude, and the reason I do so is because they've got amazing tools for small business owners like skills, etc. Now, I know ChatGPT recently brought out similar things, but I still prefer Claude. All right, so it comes down to the training. As you can see here, while it's thinking about what I've just given it, or the prompt that I've given it, you can see on the bottom here, it is says Sonnet 5. So Sonnet is the model that you want to use that doesn't eat up your tokens. And this is for these type of things, okay, for emails and messaging and things like that. If you want to have really, really deep thinking, then Opus is the better one to use. But we're not going to do that today. We're just going to stick with Sonnet. All right, I do pay for my Claude, and I do recommend you do the same because you do get lots better results out from it. I pay for both ChatGPT and Claude every month. It's what, about 50, 60 Australian dollars, $20 USD a month for each of those. And the results that you get from that is really fantastic, especially if you do not just use it as a glorified search engine, but you actually put it to work for your business. All right, so it's taking some time. It's doing the loading. And let's see how it goes. All right, so you can see there. So it says to me here, a business name is Joy Nicholson, a name-led person, core products. So these are the products that I've got. Target audience, non-technical, time-poor business owners who've already tried tools and courses and still, I've lost my space, still sound like everyone else online, clarity mission. My client clarity mission is I help overwhelmed business owners get clear on exactly who they're talking to and set up simple human-first AI systems so they attract the right customers, sound like themselves online, and get their time back. Now, that is literally exactly what I do, is I help businesses to show up in the right way. It's basically how I started my intro, right? Explaining that's what I do. And then it just carries on and it just goes into other things. So I'm not going to go into the details. So the next thing that we're going to do. So now, first of all, we got Claude to show us what we do based on our website. Now, if you go on your website and if you do this prompt on your website, from your website into here, and it does not give you clear instructions or clear defining articulation on what you do in your business, then that's a problem. So this is the very first step that I would make sure that is correct, because you might know what it is and you might have it written down somewhere, or you might have documentation on your Google Drive, whatever that looks like. But if it's not articulated correctly on your website or your funnels or your social medias, then people is not going to know. Okay, so I need you to pause here. I'm going to carry along. You can pause this video, you can carry on with it later stage, but I'm going to carry on. But what I want you to do is pause this and follow along on the prompts and understand what your business do. And if it's not quite correct, then go back and edit it and change it on the, tell the GPT, whether it's Claude or ChatGPT, to actually do that for you. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is, now it has that already in your system. So the next thing that you're going to do is you are going to say to it to analyze your website based on those things. So now it's told you what you're doing. Now you're going to say, let's analyze the website. Okay. It's going to go ahead and do that now. I'm just getting the next prompt ready. Like, I'm doing this for free with you guys. And keep in mind that this is, like, when I do this one-on-one, it's it's part of my business packages, and it is 500 minimum start to like in the thousands for a one-on-one session, depending on how deep we go and depending on how many hours you need me to train you on. Now, I'm doing one of my products that is $500 for free here on YouTube. So I would really appreciate your support by downloading the blueprint below. And then you can, instead of just copying and pasting this, or, print screen it and putting it into Claude or ChatGPT, I would appreciate you just downloading my workbook below for a very small fee. And then you have the workbook and you can do all of these things. Okay. All right. So let's keep going. It's still thinking, which is fine. And you can see it goes through different things. Because one of the things that I do is not, you can see this is Curious Kia Publishing. I actually have a publishing side to my business for children specifically. I homeschool my children and I'm very big on knowledge, and it's called Curious Kia because of this little bird in New Zealand that is a Kia, and he lives in the mountains. It's an alpine parrot, and he's very cheeky and very clever, these type of birds. And that's where the Kia, K-E-A, comes from. And Curious Kia is just because it's kind of like children to me. They're feisty and they want to learn, and they're also naughty. And this little Kia bird is exactly that type of personality. And that's why it's called Curious Kia. So that's where this is coming in. So that's why it's picking up those type of things. And then it kind of carries on and carries on. Then it talks about the language patterns, the gaps and confusions. And this is what I want you guys to note on, because these prompts is so designed so you can understand where your shortcomings comes into when you have to do your problem solving and your language patterns and all of those things. I'm not going to go into the details of this. This is where you come in to understand all of this for yourself. All right, I'm using my own business as an example because of the prompts. Then the next one is, now what we're going to do is we are going to build that ideal avatar. So you can see that person 1, 2, and 3. Now, based on what it knows of us so far, we are going to now build a fictional character based on that. Okay, so this got a little bit of a previous client that I helped in here. So it's like mentioning a few things specifically to her. And I'm doing that on purpose. I kind of left that in on purpose because I wanted to really think deeply about something if I, like a different perspective for my marketing personally. Okay. All right. So while it's doing that, I'm going to take the next one. The next prompt. It can take some time to go through these things. And this is also why sometimes these sessions do take an hour and a half, well, minimum an hour and a half, maximum 2 hours. And that's when I actually go through this with the client. But this is not just me just sitting and doing the prompts. We literally discuss each one. We go through it. I would say, are you happy with this response? If not, and then I would ask more questions. And this is where the clarification of my coaching sessions comes in, is to literally do this. Now, this is taking some time. I do not want to make this so long. I did say this was going to be like a half an hour session. I don't know if you guys saw that in the beginning of my video because I'm not sure where it started to go live. But let's see how this plays out. If there's any questions that you have on this or anything else in AI, let me know. I'm close to 4,000 hours in AI education, knowledge, experience, practice, all the things you need. I've been doing this even before ChatGPT comes out. I used to sell analytical softwares, which literally have an AI component in the back end. It was just not called that. So yeah, I understand how these things work. So if you need anything, you ask in the comments or find me on Facebook or LinkedIn, literally Joy Nicholson. You'll find me anywhere and I can help you. All right, so this is now basically the business owners that he came up with as a fictional character. Now, the next one that we're going to put in there is quite a long prompt. It's going to go to the in-depth analysis, okay, on each of these. This is probably going to eat my Claude credits for the week because I've already done a lot of work on it today. That's all right. And while it's thinking, let me just tell you guys, one of the things that I also use, one of many things that I also use Claude for is to actually write my content for me every single week. But to prevent you from sounding like any other person out there that's using AI, which I call AI slop, you need to train it. You need to train it in your brand voice. Because if you don't train it in your brand voice, it's going to be terrible. All right, so now it comes up with something. I'm just going to say a blend of both. And then it gives you that option. Another way that I use AI to save time every week, especially Claude. I'm just going to keep talking about how I save time and just know that it's Claude, because this is my main one that I use, is I talk into my phone to book in meetings. And I will do tutorials on this as well, where you can log onto your, well, you don't even need to log on. You just open Claude on your phone and you talk into it and you say, I want to book a meeting with so-and-so at this location. And this is the email address. And you just call it, just talk into it. And it actually then sends the meeting request off. And for doing that, that's when you need to have Claude connected on your Google account. And that's all in the backend settings. And those are things that I can show and tell you guys in other videos. Oh, it's taking long. All right. We are on almost 19 minutes. I just want to get to a certain point with this, and then I can show you the amazingness of all of this. Because this one is the good one. This is the one I really want to show you the magic of this. So here's a good example. When I had my marketing agency, as I mentioned before, I closed that in the end of 2024. I don't know if I mentioned the date, but I had one for 5 years. I closed that at the end of 2024 to focus on coaching AI and marketing and communications. And one of the things that, I'll tell you guys further that story. So you can see here, this is Renee. This is her personal attributes. Renee is 43, married to Dave, a project manager. So carrying on that story. When we did clients analysis, really dive into our clients and understanding the client's centricity and how they're going to sell their products. Because really, if you speak to your ideal client, your sales increase. It's a logical thing that works. These type of things would take us weeks sometimes to analyze, because you have to either use the Facebook ads data, or you literally have to speak to people, or you have to understand, or you have to have meeting after meeting after meeting to see how it's happened in the past and how they've sold and why people would have bought. It's a big process. It is a really big process to understand a client's centricity, to understand their ideal client to the core, the pain, desires, needs, pain points, all of those type of things. And here, look at that, Bob's your uncle. Within minutes, you have this. This is crazy. Information, humor, and obviously look at it. Like I said, I would sit with people, with my clients, and we would go through these things, and they're like, yeah, no, this doesn't make sense. But sometimes you just also need to have an open mind, because just because you have that maybe one part of your ideal client that you would like to have, you might be close to a market that is an ideal client for you. Obviously, do stick with your values. And if it's because the values don't align, never back down on that. Put your values first. That's important. All right. That's basically that thing. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do the next one. So you're going to do that like 10 times. Oh, sorry, not 10 times, 3 times. So the next one that you're going to do is you're going to drop in, it's actually 163 questions. But this file, let me just see if I can find it now. I have 163 questions. That is is this the one? Let me see. Sorry, it's just, is that the one? Yeah, this is the one. Okay. So I'm going to grab this. This is 163 questions. Now, what it's doing now, it is taking on the role of your ideal client. And what it's doing with that role of your ideal client is it is imagining itself to be your ideal client, and it's answering questions based on this ideal client. Your marketing cannot get any more clear than this. 163 questions. It goes deep. Now you do this with 3 different avatars. I'm not doing all 3 here now because it's going to get too long. But you do this with 3 different like types. Okay, it could be a female or a male, or it could be maybe somebody that's in engineering or accounting or whatever. So say, for example, you sell life coaching, and your life coaching is specifically for women. And it might be women that is in accounting. I know it sounds like I'm just making this up as I go. Or it could be women that is in marketing or whatever it is, right? So now somebody that is in marketing that have, say, 3 kids and a husband and a dog has different messaging than somebody that is in accounting that's got 1 kid or no kids and a husband and a cat. You see, so this is where the different personas come in, because you're going to understand what type of messaging you can do. So the core message that you have is the same. It's the same core message, but the targeting messaging that you send out to people, that's where the difference comes in. And that is the secret sauce, in my opinion, on how you actually target people. And you test it. It's not always going to work. This is the thing that people don't understand. They're like, oh, yeah, I put this out, it doesn't work. Sometimes it could take weeks for it to actually work, because you have to put out those hooks and understand what makes people tick. But the secret is to also just keep going. Don't give up. I felt like that many times in my life where I'm like, oh, I'm posting all the time, it's not working. I actually felt like that just the other day. And because it's annoying, like you never get the feedback, but then you keep going. And now I'm at a point where my blog posts have basically 3 times more traffic in 1 week than it's ever had before, because I keep going, you see. So people don't always like or comment on your post if you put it on Facebook. But I've had people that literally reach out to me and say, hey, listen, I see you do this and this and this, and I want to sign up to be your client. And they would never, not once, comment or like a post of mine. So you just have to really keep going. All right, this is taking long because it is 163 questions. All right, this is a deep dive. This is a very, very deep dive. When I had my agency, this is one of the things that I did. I even had a mini course on it in 2019 and 2020 and 21, actually all the time. I updated it every year. And it was called the Avatar Knowledge Blueprint. I even had a domain name linked to it. I just killed it now, because there's no point to have a course of that if you literally have this. Okay, so let's go. Yeah. Again, if you have any questions, queries, anything, ask away, because I truly believe that this can help you a lot in your marketing. Okay, so there you go. So it says the document is exactly what the previous work was building towards. I'll answer yes, because it stacks on each other. It's every step that we put into Claude is that next logical step that it builds out. Okay, now it's creating the file, and crikey, it takes long. So, when it does these things, go out, make yourself a cup of coffee. This hopefully doesn't take too long. Pour yourself a glass of water, take a toilet break, whatever you need to do. All right. My OCD is kicking in. I'm like, oh, this is taking so long. All right. But this document is going to help you to build your messaging. So after these 163 questions is answered, that is going to become your content. So each of those questions you can turn into content. So that's 163 pieces of content based on your ideal client. How cool is that? And then obviously there's other things that comes into play there as well. So like I said, I'm not going to go through this entire document now, because we're only now on page 14 for this, and there's 31 pages of multifaceted prompts. Okay, so I'm not going to go into all of that, but I want to show you how cool is this. So I think I'm going to stop here for today so you can see this. But Renee, deep dive, 163 questions. This is her name. She's 43, female, martial arts, going on 16 years. Oh, sorry, martial arts. Marital statements. Children, 2, Jack, 14, Milo, 11. And again, if you have a message for somebody that's got no kids, well, you're not going to post kiddie-related things, right? Occupation, founder, director of a structural engineering consultancy, personal background, hobbies, books, movies, pets. Because people think that, you know what, I need to just constantly post about my business and constantly do this. But if your ideal client in your head is somebody that like to have beach walks, post a photo of yourself going on a beach walk with children. Do you get what I'm saying? That's relatable content. They relate to you. Like I did it the other day. I posted a photo of me and my children walking on the beach because that's relatable, because my ideal client lives on the Sunshine Coast. I prefer local business clients because I can see them in person. You see, this is where the human connection comes in. So it all just comes down to that whole circle. Professional background, role and responsibilities, how did you get here, career goals, da 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 da. And look at that. Each of these have an ideal content thing behind it. And this is something, buying behavior, da 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 da. Now, this is the deep side. Now, there's also part of the book is to go wide as well. We go into different types of things. And that is also important. So, what we're going to do next, okay? Once we have these messages, which I'm not going to go into the details now, I use a system called Go High Level, also known as High Level, or High Level known as Go High Level, whichever one, depending, I guess, on when you join them. Now, I've been with High Level since the beginning of 2021. So it's been quite a number of years. I've never looked back. It's been the most amazing automation system that I've had in my entire life. So then what you do in High Level, and I'm going to give you a quick tutorial. I'm not going to use my main account because, privacy reasons and so on. But I just want to show you quickly what this system does. And yes, I am an affiliate for this, but I want you to keep an open mind when it comes to actual marketing and so on. So I'm going to stop sharing this for a second, and I'm going to reshare my High Level screen with you. Okay. So you'll see my logo on the top there. Like I said, I used to be an agency owner, so I had a lot of sub accounts in here, which they now found new homes with friends. And this is basically why you see the logo at the top there, but you can see that is High Level at the top there. And basically then how this works, I'm not going to go into crazy detail. If check my link below, I do have bonuses and I actually help you set up everything for free. So if you look at this at the left here, there is a lot of buttons. As a typical small business owners, you literally ignore 3/4 of those. You focus on your calendar, your contacts, which is your CRM. You focus on agents if you want to, like voice agents or messaging, answering, or things like that. And you can then focus on your marketing and automation in your sites. Literally, that's it. The rest of the stuff you mostly ignore. And then if you see reputation management, things like that, that's stuff that you can embed in your website. You don't even have to worry about that too much. Again, I can help you to set up all of this stuff. Now, it is only, and I'm saying only because I think it's super affordable. It is only 97 US dollars a month, about 150 Australian dollars a month. And I tell you what, it pays itself back tenfold, because you literally have your things on automation. Every week I send out an email. So what you do is you go to marketing. In marketing, you've got emails. You've got, like I said, this is a tutorial account. So social media planner, you can connect your Instagram, your Facebook, your LinkedIn, your TikTok, your YouTube, and you can also do Pinterest, Threads, Google My Business, and you can post content out once a week. You schedule it out, you get your assistant to do that, or once a month, and you have your content done for the month. Same with emails. You can set up your template once, your template is sorted, and you just keep on doing that. Snippets is basically text messages, and you've got countdown timers that you can put in there if you're launching an offer, and so on. I'm not going to go into the details. Also, if you have an affiliate offer, you can set that up in there as well. Now, one of the things that I really love about High Level is the CRM, because you can control all your contacts in there, and you can understand who's your people, well, not who's your people, but who's your clients, and so on. And that's really important to note as well, because you can add a contact, you can import your alt list. And that's what I did when I started using High Level. At a nice size list that I imported into my High Level, and I still send emails to those people like mostly every week. So yeah, and then bulk actions, all of those things, conversations is literally where you can click into your contact and send them a message. It is so cool. So you really have this one-stop shop for everything. And then also what is really cool about High Level is that you don't have to stress about things being done. So you pay for it, it's all there, it's done. That is the session for today. that is a little bit over time. I wanted to do half an hour. Please, 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 please use AI for the right reasons. Use it to amplify your voice. Amplify, such an AI term to use these days. But really what it is make sure that you use AI to help you to clarify your messaging, your communication, your marketing. What I also always say to my clients is, if your system is broken and you use AI on top of a broken system, it is not going to fix your broken system. However, it can help you to fix some of your messaging, and then you can then obviously start fixing things from there. But yes, it is important to note that fix your brand voice, fix your clarity, fix your messaging, your communication, all of those things first with the help of AI, and then you build your business around that. I hope this was helpful. Drop comments below. I think the chat will be live after this, and I will see you guys next week for the next video, where we're going to go more into other parts of AI.